You're about to hear something most men will avoid their entire lives because it does not comfort you. It exposes you. What I'm about to reveal is not a trick, not a line, not a tactic you can memorize in the bathroom mirror. It is the part of attraction every man feels, but almost no man dares to confront. Women don't desire the man who behaves perfectly. They desire the man who behaves truthfully. Let that sink in. Because for years, you've convinced yourself that being polite, controlled, predictable, and endlessly available would earn you desire. Instead, it earned you invisibility. You didn't lose her because you were too nice. You lost her because you stripped yourself of tension, mystery, and masculine gravity. You removed everything that creates instinctual pull and replaced it with emotional safety she never asked you for. The truth is far more brutal. She doesn't want the man who tries to be chosen. She wants the man who could walk away. That a woman's attraction is not triggered by perfect manners, perfect timing, or perfect behavior. That it is triggered by contrast. Your calm against her curiosity, your presence against her uncertainty, your silence against her imagination. The men she remembers are not the ones who tried to impress her. They're the ones who didn't need to. Because deep down, she can sense it. The man grounded in himself, unhurried, unbothered, unattached, is a different creature. That he doesn't beg for validation, that he doesn't chase attention, that he doesn't seek approval through niceness. He creates desire by existing with standards, scarcity, and self-control. This video will break the psychological illusion that has sabotaged you your whole life. It will reveal the hidden layer of female desire, the part based not on words, but on tension, emotional polarity, and the unspoken power of your presence. If you've ever wondered why effort repels and calm dominance attracts, why availability kills desire, but mystery intensifies it, and why the men who don't try are the ones who win, keep watching. Because once you understand this, you will never behave like the nice guy again, and you'll never be invisible. Again, to understand why you fail, you must first understand the lie you were sold. Society, movies, and perhaps even your own upbringing conditioned you to view attraction as a transaction, a vending machine model of romance. You insert kindness, you insert compliments, you insert listening hours, and you expect intimacy to drop out the bottom. When it doesn't, you double down. You insert more coins. You text back faster. You apologize for things you didn't do. You become more accommodating. And yet, she drifts further away. She tells you she sees you as a friend. She tells you there is no spark, and you are left confused, angry, and alone, holding a handful of kindness coins that no one wants. Here is the dirty truth the world refuses to tell you. Attraction is not a reward for good behavior. Attraction is an emotional response to status, tension, and power. When you behave like a servant, you cannot be viewed as a king. And women do not desire servants. They may use servants. They may appreciate servants, but they do not sleep with servants. They sleep with the men who challenge them, the men who represent a world larger than their own, the men who are not easily conquered. The dirtiest method to seduce a woman is simply removing the mask of the pleaser. It is killing the part of you that is terrified of her judgment. You see, the nice guy isn't actually nice. He is manipulative. He is nice because he wants something. He is nice because he is afraid of conflict. He is nice because he lacks the backbone to say no. And women, who are masters of reading emotional subtext, smell this fear on you instantly. They smell the transactional nature of your kindness. It repels them because it signals weakness. It signals that your resources, your time, your attention, your loyalty are cheap. Value is determined by scarcity. If gold were as common as dirt, it would be worthless. If your attention is always available, if you're always there to answer every text within 30 seconds, if you clear your schedule the moment she suggests a coffee, you are signaling to her biological brain that your time has no value. You are signaling that you have no mission, no purpose, and no other options. You are dirt, not gold, and she will treat you accordingly. This is where the concept of the dirty method comes in. It is not about being a jerk. It is not about being abusive. It is about becoming dirty to the ego. It is about getting your hands dirty with the reality of human nature, which is darker and more primal than the Disney fairy tales you grew up on. It requires you to embrace the fact that human beings want what they cannot easily have. We value what we have to work for. We respect what has the power to reject us. Think about the men who get the women you want. Are they the ones bending over backward? Are they the ones writing paragraphs of text explaining their feelings? No, they're the men who lean back. They are the men who speak less than she does. They are the men who are not afraid to tease, to disagree, or to end the interaction first. They operate with a take-it-or-leave-it energy. This energy is magnetic because it implies abundance. It implies, I want you, but I do not need you. The vast majority of men are walking around with I need you tattooed on their foreheads. It shows in their anxious body language. It shows in the way they rush to fill any silence in the conversation because they are terrified that if the conversation stops, she will realize she doesn't like him. So they chatter. They dance. They perform like monkeys for a peanut. The high-value man loves the silence. He sits in it. He looks at her, comfortable in his own skin, and lets the silence build tension. He forces her to invest. He forces her to wonder, what is he thinking? That moment, when she wonders what you are thinking, is the moment attraction begins. If you tell her everything, if you vomit your entire life story and all your feelings onto the table in the first hour, you have destroyed the mystery. You have become a solved puzzle, and solved puzzles go back in the box. You must remain an unfolding narrative. You must be a book with pages glued together that she has to work to pry open. This isn't playing games. This is maintaining your sovereignty. Let's talk about the biological necessity of anxiety. I know, modern therapy tells you that relationships should be 100% safe and secure. That is the goal for a marriage, perhaps. But for seduction, for the spark of desire, safety is lethal. If a woman feels 100% safe with you, meaning she knows with absolute certainty that you will never leave, never cheat, never get angry, and never challenge her, she will lose attraction. Why? Because there are no stakes. It's like playing a video game with God mode on. It's fun for 5 minutes, and then it is incredibly boring. She needs to feel a low-level hum of anxiety. Not the anxiety of abuse, but the anxiety of, is he going to choose me? Did I impress him? Is he bored? This anxiety drives her to chase you. It drives her to dress better, to ask you questions, to seek your validation. The nice guy tries to remove this anxiety immediately. He reassures her constantly. He kills the chase before it even starts. The seductive man manages this anxiety. He gives her validation when she earns it and withdraws it when she behaves poorly. He becomes the judge. This is a critical shift in your mental framework. You must stop trying to be the contestant and start being the judge. When you go on a date, stop asking yourself, does she like me? Start asking yourself, do I like her? Does she meet my standards? Is she interesting enough to occupy my time? This shift in internal monologue changes your micro-expressions. It changes your tone of voice. You stop trying to sell yourself and start auditing her. And paradoxically, when you stop trying to sell, she starts trying to buy. Let's go deeper into the mechanism of contrast. The human brain is wired to notice contrast. We don't notice the air until it's gone. We don't notice the silence until there was noise. You cannot be attractive if you are a flat line of positivity. If you're always happy, always agreeable, always nice, you're background noise. You're the wallpaper. To be the focal point, you must introduce contrast. You must be capable of warmth, but also capable of coldness. Capable of intense interest, but also capable of complete detachment. When you withdraw your attention, it should be like the sun going behind cloud. She should feel the temperature drop. She should miss the warmth. If you're a constant heat lamp, she will just sweat and move away. You must learn the art of the pullback. You give her a moment of intense connection, deep eye contact, genuine laughter, and then you check your phone, look away, and disengage for a moment. You pull your energy back into your own body. This push-pull dynamic creates an emotional roller coaster. And women are addicted to emotional roller coasters. They claim they want peace, but they date the men who give them storms. Be the storm, not a chaotic, destructive storm, but a controlled weather system that she cannot predict. Predictability is the death knell of libido. The moment she can predict exactly what you will say, exactly how you will react, and exactly what you will do in bed, the desire begins to rot. You must retain the element of surprise. This means sometimes saying no to a date she suggests. This means sometimes changing the plan last minute. This means having opinions that contradict hers. Do not be afraid to disagree. A man who agrees with everything a woman says is not a partner. He is a fan. She has enough fans on Instagram. She doesn't need another one. She needs a peer. A peer is someone who stands on equal footing and is not afraid of friction. Friction creates heat. No friction, no fire. Now consider the concept of the shadow. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow as the dark, repressed side of the personality. The nice guy represses his shadow. He hides his aggression, his sexuality, his selfishness, and his capacity for danger. He thinks this makes him good. It actually makes him harmless. And harmless men are not sexy. Women crave a man who is capable of danger, but keeps it under voluntary control. This is the archetype of the monster that Jordan Peterson speaks of. You should be a monster, and then you should learn to control it. When you look at her, do not look at her with the innocent eyes of a boy asking for a cookie. Look at her with the eyes of a man who knows exactly what he wants to do to her. Do not apologize for your sexual nature. This is a massive stumbling block for modern men. You have been told that your male gaze is predatory, that your desire is toxic, so you neuter yourself. You approach her like a eunuch. You pretend you just want to be friends. You hover. This is disgusting to her. The dirty method requires you to reintegrate your shadow. It requires you to own your desire. When you speak to her, let your voice drop. Speak slower. Do not rush. When you look at her lips. Look at her neck. Let her see that you are evaluating her physically. This creates sexual tension. If you hide your desire until you get permission, you will never get permission. You must embody the desire first. You must create the container of sexual possibility that, if she rejects it, you walk away, unbothered. This is the superpower. The ability to walk away is the only thing that negotiates a win. In any deal, the person who needs the deal more loses. If you need her validation to feel like a man, you've already lost. You must build a life so compelling, so full of purpose, discipline, and other options, that losing one woman is a minor inconvenience, not a tragedy. This is why you must kill the oneitis. The belief that there's only one soulmate for you, and if you mess it up, you are doomed. This is a scarcity mindset script from Hollywood. There are millions of women. When you operate from abundance, you take risks. You make the joke that might be too edgy. You go for the kiss. You call her out on her bad behavior. And because you're not afraid of losing her, you act in a way that makes her afraid of losing you. Let's break down the practical application of silence. Most men are terrified of silence because they project their own insecurity into the gap. They think, oh no, she's bored, I need to say something funny. So they say something stupid. Stop it. When the conversation lulls, hold your ground. Look at her. Smile slightly, like you know a secret. Let the silence stretch until it becomes heavy. Let her be the one to break it. 90% of the time, she will break it by explaining herself, by giggling, or by asking you a question. Whoever speaks first in the silence loses the frame. Keep the frame. Frame control is everything. The frame is the underlying reality of the interaction. Is the reality, I am trying to impress her? Or is the reality, we are two people seeing if we fit? Or better yet, she's trying to win me over? You must always hold the frame that you are the prize. This isn't narcissism, it's self-preservation. If you enter her frame, which is usually entertain me, you become the jester. The jester does not sleep with the queen. You must also understand the difference between being reactive and being responsive. A reactive man jumps when his phone buzzes. He gets angry when she flakes. He gets sad when she doesn't use emojis. He is an emotional leaf blowing in the wind of her behavior. A responsive man observes. He processes. If she disrespects his time, he doesn't explode in a rage text. He simply withdraws attention. He trains her how to treat him not through lectures, but through behavior. Behavior is the only language that matters. You can tell her, I'm a high-value man, all day long, but if you wait outside the dressing room holding her purse for 45 minutes, your behavior says, I am a simp. Your actions must align with the identity of a man who respects himself. This means you end phone calls first sometimes. This means you don't accept last-minute booty calls if you had other plans, even if you just plan to sleep. It means you respect your word to yourself more than you desire her approval. Women test men. They have to. It is an evolutionary mechanism to ensure they are not mating with a weakling who will crumble under pressure. These tests, often called shit tests, manifest as teasing, acting cold, changing plans, or challenging your opinions. When a man fails a test, he gets defensive, apologetic, or angry. When a high-value man gets tested, he laughs. He agrees and amplifies. If she says, you're kind of a jerk, the weak man says, no, I'm not. I'm really nice. The strong man smiles and says, I'm actually the worst. You should probably stay away from me. He doesn't take the bait. He remains unreactive. This non-reactivity signals that his internal reality is stronger than her external commentary. It signals that he is solid. The dirty method forces you to look at your digital behavior. The phone is the leash of the modern man. You treat it like an oxygen tank. You need to treat it like a tool. Turn off your notifications. Do not reply instantly unless it serves a logistical purpose. When you're always available digitally, you are destroying the mystery. You are popping the tension balloon. Let her wonder why you haven't replied for 3 hours. Is he with another woman? Is he working on something important? Is he just not thinking about me? These questions are the fertilizer of desire. But remember, this isn't about playing a game of who cares less. It is about actually having a life where you are busy. If you're sitting on your couch staring at the wall, counting the minutes until you can text her back, you are a loser playing a winner's game. She will feel the inauthenticity. You must actually build a life that is more interesting than she is. Your purpose must be your primary lover. The woman is the mistress. If you make the woman your primary purpose, she will resent you for placing that burden on her. She wants to be part of your adventure. She does not want to be the adventure itself. This leads us to the concept of emotional vacancy. You must create space. A woman falls in love in your absence, not your presence. It is when you are away that her imagination gets to work. She replays your words. She analyzes your glances. She projects her fantasies onto you. If you are never away, if you are texting her good morning, how is your lunch, good night, every single day, you are clogging the mental space where her fantasy should be growing. You are suffocating her with presence. Step back. Give her the gift of missing you. The nice guy operates on the covert contract. I will do everything for you, so you must love me. This is why nice guys have so much repressed rage. They feel the world owes them. The dirty man, the seductive man, operates on open transactions of value. I enjoy your company, so I am here. If I stop enjoying it, I will leave. There is no hidden debt. This honesty is refreshing. It allows her to relax because she doesn't feel the weight of your unstated expectations. That let's talk about the no again, because it is the most important word in your vocabulary. You must practice saying no to small things. No, I don't want to eat there. No, I can't meet on Tuesday. No, I don't like that movie. Every no is a brick in the fortress of your identity. It defines where you end and she begins. Without boundaries, there is no you to love. There is just a blob of enmeshment. Enmeshment is comfort. Boundaries are sexy. When you start applying this, when you start prioritizing your mission, controlling your reactivity, sitting in the silence and holding your standards, you will feel a shift. It will feel uncomfortable at first. You're nice guy. Programming will scream that you are being mean. It will scream that you're going to lose her. You must ignore that voice. That voice is the voice of the frightened child who needs mommy's approval. You're not a child anymore. You are a man. And as a man, your gravity comes from your groundedness. Think of the ocean. The surface is chaotic, waves crashing, wind blowing. That is the feminine energy, emotional, changing, beautiful, chaotic. The deep ocean is still, dark, powerful, unmoved by the storm of the surface. That is the masculine. You must be the deep. If you let her storm disturb your deep, you have failed. She wants to thrash around on the surface and know that underneath, you are immovable. This method is dirty because it requires you to accept that you are selfish. And that is okay. You are the protagonist of your life. You must secure your own mask before helping others. When you're filled with your own self-respect, you actually have more to give. You can give genuine love, not needy attachment. You can give protection, not smothering. You can give leadership, not tyranny. But you cannot get there without killing the boy. The boy who needs a pat on the head. The boy who is afraid of the dark. You must step into the dark. You must become comfortable with the fact that not everyone will like you. In fact, if you're doing this right, many people won't like you. They will call you arrogant. They will call you cold. Good. That means you have a distinct flavor. Vanilla is liked by everyone, but loved by no one. Be dark chocolate. Be whiskey. Be something strong that repels the weak and intoxicates the ones who can handle it. The illusion that has kept you trapped is the belief that if you just try hard enough, you can earn her. You cannot earn desire. You can only trigger it. You trigger it by being a man who is self-contained, a man who has conquered himself. As Nietzsche said, he who cannot obey himself will be commanded. If you cannot control your own impulses to text, to plead, to seeking validation, you will be commanded by her whims. You will be a slave to her mood. Break the chains. Stop asking for permission to exist. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Walk into a room like you own the building, not like you're looking for the exit. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Look her in the eyes until she feels your soul penetrating hers. This is not about technique. It is about being. It is about vibrating at a frequency of authority. When you finally stop chasing, you turn around and realize they are chasing you. Because the world is full of followers, full of pleasers, full of beggars. A king is a rare sight. Be the king. Understand that this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires a daily execution of will. It requires you to catch yourself in the act of being needy and kill it right there. It requires you to endure the anxiety of, maybe she won't text back, and realize that you will survive. In fact, you will thrive. The power of walking away is not just a tactic to get her back. It is a lifestyle. You must be willing to walk away from a job that disrespects you, friends who drag you down, and habits that weaken you. When your entire life is built on high standards, women can smell it. They can smell that you are a man of selection. You are not begging for a scrap of meat. You are the chef choosing the finest ingredients. And here is the final secret. She wants you to win. She wants you to be this man. She is tired of leading. She is tired of the nice guys. She is begging, with her behavior, for a man who can handle her, who can tell her no, who can lead her to a place she is too afraid to go alone. She is waiting for you to drop the act and step into your power. But she won't tell you this. She will test you. She will push you. She will try to break you. Because she needs to know if the structure is sound before she enters the house. If you crumble at the first sign of resistance, she knows the house is unsafe. Stand tall. Let the wind blow. Let the rain fall. And remain standing. That is the dirtiest method. The method of absolute, unshakable self-belief. It is dirty because it feels unfair to those who play by the rules of niceness. But the rules were a lie. The game was rigged. I am handing you the hammer to break the board and start playing your own game. A game where you make the rules. A game where you are the prize. Now, listening to this is the first step, but intellectual understanding is not the same as embodied competence. You can know the theory of swimming and still drown when you hit the water. You need the drills. You need the specific protocols. You need to know exactly how to calibrate your attention, how to read the subtle cues of female interest, and how to escalate tension without being creepy. You need to know the psychological triggers that bypass her logic and speak directly to her instinct. There's a code to this. A hidden language of subtext, body language, and timing that the masters of seduction have used for centuries. It is not something you pick up by accident. It is a skill set that must be studied and practiced. If you're tired of guessing, if you're tired of the friend zone, if you're ready to dismantle the nice guy programming that has kept you small and invisible, then you need to go deeper than a YouTube video. You need the blueprint. I have created a comprehensive training called the Code of Seduction. Inside, I break down the granular details of this philosophy. I show you how to rebuild your internal frame from the ground up. I teach you the text game that creates obsession, the nonverbal cues that establish dominance, and the emotional dynamics that keep a woman addicted to your presence. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for the men who are ready to look in the mirror and kill the weakness. This is for the men who want to reclaim their birthright of masculine power. Will not let another year go by hoping things will change. Hope is not a strategy. Action is a strategy. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Join the Code of Seduction. Stop being the man who watches. Become the man who is watched. The choice is yours. The door is open. Walk through it.